Hey everyone, welcome back to the Archangel15 and another episode of the Archangel15 show. Today I have a much less contentious presentation for you. Uh, like I said in the past, I know I hit really hard on a lot of stuff. They actually shut my channel down for a couple weeks, and you see exactly what the hell happens every single time they did this. For you, not those of you who don't watch the weather phenomenon, massive flooding, severe weather outbreaks all over the place. Tornadoes hit right at Palm Beach, like right at the coast of Florida, right at Virginia Beach as well. We're actually turning it up a notch in the name of Kendrick Lamar. And there's several reasons for this. My domages and water offerings. I have the Chinese involved now. But the fact that we're like actually starting to hit the upper scale, more upscale communities is like fucking right, like right on. Like hopefully this continues, and like you have to ask yourself, like what are the odds that these tornadoes would form like right at the coast, like right on the beachfront, and there was actually another one in Boynton Beach in Florida, like the day before the other one in Florida. Like it's almost every like 2-3 times a week. There's like fronts moving through the south, and I believe, like I said, I mentioned in the past that I believe the radar are being hindered. Like there's like probably like almost like hurricanes and other things like from out west that are hitting California that are not being covered. Massive tornado, earthquake swarms going on as well. Um, this is my 301st presentation. Like I passed the 300 mark. I know that's not a lot, like relatively speaking on YouTube, but like one of my presentations is probably most of them average 25-30 minutes. Like 300 of my presentations is probably almost like 600-900, maybe even over 1,000. Like I'm a master at compressing and condensing stuff. Like I really try to expedite and get like to the heart. The stuff I talked about is like nobody else has the balls to talk about. Really heavy hitting stuff. And I'm, like I said, thankful to still be going this long. And I recently just did a presentation series about the shady fake little town I live in. I mentioned this innumerable times, and like I actually like mentioned the specific areas and like kind of tied it together. It's really big. Like this, like I said, it like had to do with Trump and like a lot of other stuff with Trump. Like please watch that. That was number 298, 299, and 300. Start with number 1 of that, the fake town where I live. My Stormfront series. One of the reasons they shut me down, like I said, they're somewhat contentious. I've actually had some people of like high status around the world contact me, and like I'm not alone. Like there are other people that agree with what I'm saying, and nobody else has the balls to say it. We've allowed in this new world agenda and everything else for a seemingly small group of people to dictate the agendas of the greater good and the many, and it's sickening. It's got to stop. It's absolute bullshit. And these people have no idea what they're dealing with. Today, this presentation is May 1st, 2023. May 9th is May Day parade in Russia. Traditionally, a very important holiday for all of Russia, and it has roots back to the origins of World War II when the Russians beat the Germans and the Nazis, and it's very personal to the Russians. They have these black and orange vans. They call it Saint George's ribbon or something like that. I have one I got when I was in there. I was at the May Day celebration in 2017. They shut down like all of the Kremlin. Like you have to be like have roots to the Red Army to get in there. Bush somehow got in years ago, but I'm hoping that they'll let me in the future. But that's May 9th. Given all the turmoil in Ukraine, it's kind of like contentious about what's going to happen. Like if they're going to have like the full ceremonies. Last year they canceled the air show. Like the sky lit up and arced up. Like watch this year and see if the sky does the same thing. They canceled it because, like I said, my cloud formations have been kicking ass and taking names later, and it's pretty cool to watch. Like I said, what's going on, and like this is like the ultimate weapon against the West is to like show that you have God on your side. And it, like especially like now with what's going on in the United States, it's obvious the United States does not have God on their side. And it was an honor for them to stop that, like I said, that presentation. In between last May Day and this May Day, this is my air show video, which is, like I said, one of the top 3 to 5 Russian films, like impactful Russian films of all time. And the phenomenon here seems to be building. Like I said, I mentioned in Florida and in Virginia. We're not even really at the peak of tornado season yet. We had them in like January and February, massive ones. And like keep in mind, some of these houses, like I said, these upscale houses that they're hitting, like you can't just stitch in some new shingles with old ones on like a several $1,000,000 house. They're not going to do it. You have to replace the whole roof, or at least, like I said, do your best. And like I'm going to tell you right now, like we're running into massive issues. Like I said, there's like they have all these new places that they want to build. Continuously just wanting to build. Then we have, like I said, like the old stuff that needs fixed up. Now we have all of this stuff. Like I said, we don't have enough materials. We don't have enough human labor. And like I said, like you have to ask, is it going to be done good, like to quality standards? And then, like I said, they're in the middle of fixing this stuff up, and then the storms hit again. And then, like I said, like it's stuff that like you can't just like. There's realistic limitations in construction. Like if you hurry it up, you're going to sacrifice quality for quantity. And I'm not going to get into this too much, but like I said, I believe, like I said, like even a few shingles ripped off is going to equal a new roof. So it's pretty devastating what's happening. I mentioned, I want to mention one of my favorite movies of all time, great '90s classic, Twister. No other movie like it. It's really a love story. And Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Bill Paxton plays a guy named Billy the Extreme, they call him. Kind of gets into dolmages. He they're explaining this table scene about this Billy the Extreme, and he takes a Jack Daniels bottle, throws it into the twister, and it never hits the ground. Like amazing acting, Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was also in Boogie Nights and The Big Lebowski. We lost him way too early, just like Heath Ledger, and but they like the whole point of this thing is that they're trying to like prototype this scientific contraption to like basically tell us how tornadoes form. Like these little balls go up and show it. And like what's interesting is when you watch these tornadoes, like they'll go through like a whole stack of buildings, and you would think that as they're going through a building that they would almost slow down, and it seems like they almost pick up. It's crazy. And like I've like seen like or heard like concept of UFO phenomenon where like it looks just like a twister, like a pixelated. It's something that defies really like what they teach, or like there's a deeper understanding, an element of physics to it, and I believe it has to do with Michael Faraday and Michael Faraday's law of induction. Amazing luminary man. Didn't even have 2 years of formal schooling. He invented the electric motor, pretty big deal, like the induction motor. He discovered benzene, and he also was the first to liquefy chlorine. Innumerable other things that he did. Amazing man. I'm reading this. This is my third book on him. Experimental Researches in Electricity by Michael Faraday. This is gold. Like absolute, just amazing man. I like talked to in the past about people to not talk about Crowley, or like not like you're kind of getting into a gray area, like when you get into the ceremonial and diabolical magic stuff, and he this gets into it as well. They're like the Lipdick Wasp Freemasons don't want you to know that like you can be self-taught and be an amazing figure. And I'm actually working with the Chinese military and giving them dolmage, like stuff to use for dolmages. And it's actually like I'm having amazing results with it. And how do I know that it's working? Because what I tell them to throw in the water for the water offerings, I'll see a cloud formation that looks exactly like it. And I'm going to kind of talk more about that later. I kind of wanted this to be a shorter one of my presentations, but I believe so also know that like just because there's not a tornado, the flat line winds, the straight line winds are doing massive, like these huge storms are causing massive damage. I believe, all the flooding is creating like a tidal bores. Like I said, as the tides come in and we get closer to the full moons and stuff, there's massive issues with this tidal bores. I believe, like, I've seen this firsthand. Like, I actually have the ability not only to influence the ionosphere and the weather, but like I've even seen it with like extreme tidal fluxes. And like I've seen this in New Jersey at like Stone Harbor. Like I would almost guess in like some areas there they don't even have any beach anymore. Atlantic City, like I used to go there all the time. Like major issues there, and like Wildwood has a lot of beach to give up. But I believe that there's dams that are cresting all around. And like I said, we're not even in like I said, May to August is like traditionally the peak of like tornado season. So we still have that all to go. We still have all hurricane season to go. REM famous song, the Eye of a Hurricane, Listen to Yourself Churn. Lenny Bruce Is Not Afraid. Really good song. Gets into like this like basically censorship. Really, really interesting. Like the stuff they talk about. A lot of songs are very prophetic. Trivium, the band, another one that has a lot of prophetic stuff. That Ways of Holocaust Wind by Goat Moon. I've actually seen cloud formations that I've shown that like basically tie into it. But like I said, keep in mind, like, what are the odds that these tornadoes would form right at the coast? And like I said, that's like a beautiful thing in my opinion. I'd rather see them hit them than the less privileged people who live in trailer parks and so forth. And I almost think that like these tornadoes are hitting like other areas. It's like Chinese propaganda. Like it's too damaging to the United States and the United States dollar and other things to show this on TV. That like it is, like I said, it's like, especially with the May Day parade coming up, like they like don't want this to be covered. And like you'll see that they'll have tons of drone footage of like the trailer parks and everything that'll get hit, but they have very, very few videos of the high scale upscale areas. And it's like definitely like a trend. It's definitely hitting the nicer houses as time goes on. And I'd like to think that my work with the Chinese, I have to believe that the Chinese invented diabolical and ceremonial magic. And like it's like, they're not like the British where they want to tell everybody about it or whatever. Like it's something that they knew of probably thousands of years ago, and they knew that it could be used as a weapon, and it had kind of cool aspects of it to it. And like it's something that like I have to believe that they pioneered it a long time ago before anybody else did. Like I said, stuff will come up in my workout alchemy game, and I'll tell them. And like I said, the results are pretty amazing. And, I'm hoping that, like I said, I'm able to leverage a group of people out of a very large sum of money. And I'm seeing trends with the elites starting to fortify things. Like basically, like you've seen a lot more like a breakaway communities, like the gated communities. A lot of employers are starting to fortify places. Like I see like a very alarming trend of like almost like they want to push like a very tyrannical, like flat out communist world. Like that's fine and dandy. You can do what you want to do, but at the end of the day, there's a law of like a natural law, and like I said, like there's the wild. Like I said, like you can do it. You can lock yourself in wherever you want to lock yourself in, but there's still a lot of other land out there that you're not going to be able to do that with. And like I said, people will go back to living in a primitive, hedonistic way, and this has happened countless times in past civilizations, and it's a beautiful thing to see people coming down the road, ransacking a house, and like I said, just like let nature take its course. Like it really is a beautiful thing in my opinion. And the gamma I mentioned before, like it's hard. It's going to get worse. Like it's really, really bad. You go outside, the gamma, like Tupac Shakur had a song "Hail Mary," it could blow through your body like a 12-gauge shotty, and that's exactly what the hell it does. Like you stand out, like it'll literally go through a 12-foot thick wall of concrete, and like they have to line them with lead, and they still like goes through. You can still put a Geiger counter up to it. It'll go right through your bones, right through your skin, right through your lungs. And you can feel it. A motorcycle would probably not be intelligent. Riding on like a speedboat or something would probably not be intelligent. And just being out like unnecessarily, it's going to get you. And you can even feel it when you're in your house and it's windy. It blows right through your house. Pretty amazing. And it's an honor to be God's chosen and still here today. Like I said, doing my job with great honor. Like I said, and pride. And there's like 6 things that look really, really bad. Biden, like I said, and it's become a matter of pride, like from like these people giving me my money, to letting me leave the country, to cock blocking me, to like just other little things, idiosyncrasies of like these limp dick old white men, like wanting to go down, like I said, with their ship, which they have the right to do that, but it looks really bad. Like I said, you see exactly what happened when you try to shut me down. Like I said, this is not a joke, and the leveraging, like I said, like I'm not going to accept anything less than the amount that I talked about. It started off with like I had this out of court thing going on, like where these people wanted to try to screw me over. And like I said, when it's all said and done, I'm going to do the exact same philosophy they did to me, to them. I said, like I started basically making my own numbers up. It started with 50 million, and I put like a date down. Then it went to 57 billion. Then it went from 57 billion to 679 billion. And these are all like harmonics almost of each other. And then it went from 679 billion to the final and most definitely obscene number, 1 trillion, 111 billion, 111 million, 111,000, $111.11. And like I said, like when I finally do get my money, I'm going to go to somebody like Trump. and I'm gonna give him like a bullshit offer, like $2 million for the Empire State Building, and I'm gonna go to every single town in this country and find out who the lawyers are, the attorneys, and I'm gonna like offer the attorneys like $2,000 for their house, and I'm gonna put a contingent deadline, and like you're gonna see this whole thing build, and like I said, you want to fuck with me? Like I said, I got games too, buddy, and so like I said, like don't come at me with anything less than the T. The big T, and I'll buy my own network. I'm gonna go to the Sequoia Corporation. We're gonna have flying cars, the coolest free energy flying and the coolest free energy and flying cars. I already got my ex-girlfriend ready, or like everything's ready to go. This looks really bad. It could have been here, but you guys wanted to play old man limp dick white games, old white limp dick man games. Your old 33 crew, and like I said, like. This whole thing looks really, really bad to like countries like China and Russia. Like they're gonna say like you had the ability to take care of this situation to stop this from happening, and you continue to let it happen. We're just gonna bomb you then, and we're gonna, like I said, you don't have any problem. Like I said, destroying your own country. Like it looks really, really bad, and the whole thing in Ukraine, like I said, the United States should never have gotten involved. Like it really, really bothers me. Like there's like shady shit going on there. I mentioned in the past that now you need like a family member to go there. I think it's like a prequel that they're building to like where you're going to need a Russian visa. I still have one until December 2024. And I look forward to going back, and we're going to have a party in Odessa Beach in downtown Kiev. Hopefully I don't step on a landmine, but I hope to make it. My view counts are obviously gamed, and it's really bullshit. It's starting to get real personal, and like I said, I should have been a self-made millionaire just from this channel alone, just from my cloud formations videos. I can literally take requests. I can like throw something in the water, like a picture, and like actually form it in the sky. Like really, really amazing stuff. Like nobody else can do. And like they keep me like a fucking living like Mr. fucking Bojangles here. And anyhow, the whole thing in France, I saw that they're starting to set cops on fire. Fucking right on. Like hopefully, like I said, some black line boys from here go there and show them how it's done. Like you have this jerk off Macron, who decides in the middle of nuclear warfare to raise the retirement age in the middle of nuclear warfare. And I want to start off by saying that like half of French people are like amazing, probably some of the best people on the face of the earth. They've been calling out the United States on their lies and all this shit for years. During the Iraq War, fucking Bush tried to change French fries to freedom fries. Like that's how it's no words. So like I said, this guy, this Macron, one week he goes and he's trying to get in Putin's shorts. He goes to Russia. He acts like his country is something of substance. Like they make some wine and that's about it. And some champagne and some designer stuff. But like other than that, like what are they really doing for the world? And his country, and then the next week he goes. After that, he'll go to the Xi Jinping in China, and he acts like he's real diplomatic. He puts on his little man suit and this and that, and like his country has, to my knowledge, at least 11 United States Air Force bases in his country. And like I said, like Putin laid the line down for him and others a long time ago. He said, like, if you bring in arms to your country for Ukraine, American arms, you're crossing the line. He crossed the line. Out come the Sarmats. Next thing you know, mushroom clouds in France. And like I said, it was almost like they wanted to facilitate this. Like I said, let's take it all back. Let's take it way, way back. I'm cool with that. Only the strong will survive in the end. And it's part of a much bigger plan of God. Where I'm at, I'm seeing a lot of like Rothschild people staging. Like I want to start off by saying, when I say Rothschilds, like you probably think like it's a broad-based thing. Like there are like thousands and thousands. Like the Rothschilds took it upon themselves to see the entire earth. They thought that was their job. Like you'll see these, like they have like red hair. They look like a cross between like Anglo, German, and Scandinavian. They have a certain look to them. A lot of them have the red hair. They all have different looks. Some of them have, like they're not like a unified race or anything like that, but like you can clearly see the ones that look like this. And I know this is what they are. And like let's get something straight. we're not friends. Like, just because you're banging some little girls, stolen little clone girls, and because you have deep underground military bases and you're trying to wait for me to get sick to take me, we're not friends. I know your daddy paid for you, your opposing baseball teams to lose, and you're used to getting your way all the time, but you have absolutely fucking nothing except a beautiful story that you took part in fucking up. And like I said, we're not friends. And the truth is, like, your counterparts, your 800,000 other brothers and sisters that are in other countries hate you. And like I said, they're actively working against you. And it's the truth. Like, there's like a big divergence. Like, you go to Russia, like the Rothschild, like I've met some of them like in my world travels, and like they're not in some type of like they maybe have some of the same bunkers and stuff like that, but they've done they've done a better job than anybody of hedging. And like I said before, real men don't hedge. Like, and they like, you can see with like, what pisses these people off is China. And I'm guessing that China had enough honor to either call them out on their bullshit or to not let them play, like, to not play their game. Or that there was they looked so much different than them. And it kind of goes into the whole thing with Hong Kong, how they try to steal Hong Kong. But you are not God. You have nothing. And the games are just about over. And I have, like I said, a plug for my insemination services. $10,000 to $15,000, my introductory rate. I have very stringent criterion. Like, there are people that I know. The girls must be somewhat attractive. Colored like black girls, Italian girls. And like I said, you're gonna have to bring your own clock or bring your own watch. And like I said, we do like a notary process. And you need to understand that these genetics are not going to ever be above my Russian genetics, Chinese genetics. You can't be using them for I'll get into that later. You're probably wondering, like, what is the divergence between the discrepancy between the 10 and 15,000? I can tell you that you get a little bonus for the extra $5,000. It gets into programming, and I guess people would say, well, how would we get a hold of you? Put like VVV in any one of my comments, and I will immediately respond to you with an email address, and we'll start emailing, and we'll exchange phone numbers, and we'll talk, and we'll set something up. And like I said, I have a certain way that I want to go about it. Basically, just to say that I get paid $10,000 to $15,000 as like a male prostitute would be like pretty cool. If you see the quality of girls that get that money, like to be a man and do that is saying something. And I find it, like I said, interesting. Like with California, I really believe that there's like I said, serious issues there that are not being covered. The radar feeds here, like I said, are hindered. They're like not in, like, I really believe, like I said, that they're like these storm chasers and other people are like using this as an opportunity, not only to say for looting, but there's definitely other phenomenon going on in these areas. And I have a very, very bad outlook for the future. If you start getting into quantitative analysis and like extrapolating large amounts of information on various axial planes, like there's like 6 to 16 things that are actively converging on like various quantitative axial planes and multi-dimensional grids. And when these cross and converge, like 3 will take out 6, and then like it'll cause a dominoing chain reaction of sorts. Like we're right here today. Like I said, I have major concerns moving forward. I could have had a job with any intelligence agency. I work for the Russians and Chinese, and like I said, my accounts in Russia are under sanctions, and I really am not worried about it. Like I said, I believe that I'm going to leverage people here out of money, and it's a great, like, what I do with honor. I would do it for free in the name of what is right, in the name of God, in the name of truth. And like, I fight for the best team on the face of the earth. And like I said, that like, truth is, as smart as I am, I could never ever, like I said, put together what the hypersonic rocket engineers do in Russia. Like I said, the hypersonic missiles that they have work on like 37 metrics. They all combine this information together, from like laser guided to like trajectory, like basically like various propulsion stages. Like they have like some of them have 2-3 stages, adjusting for the curvature of the Earth, GPS. Like I said, the satellite, like I said, the laser, all of it goes together. And like I said, it's really amazing. And like I said, the speeds that they are able to get, I have like, I couldn't figure it out. It's pretty, like I said, that's the United States can't either. And it's like definitely a sign of higher intelligence on this earth. And they know that. But what I'm doing with the weather phenomenon is like very like it's actually the ultimate goal for Russia and China is to be able to use the forces of God to basically like prove that you're more honorable first off, like show that you have more honor, and then to not have to use nuclear weapons. It's like I said, like I work for the Chinese nuclear proliferation team, really in a broader sense. I'm gonna do some Bible, incorporate some Bible stuff. I try to like take you right to the meat portion, past the bread portion of understanding to the deeper elements of mystery. And today I'm going to read from the book of Psalms, 147, 1 passages 1 through 11. Praise ye the Lord, for it is good to sing praises unto our God, for it is pleasant, and praise is comely. The Lord doth build up Jerusalem. He gathereth together he outcasts of Israel. He healeth the broken in heart, and bindeth up their wounds. He telleth the number of the stars. He calleth them all by their name. God knows every star, how many there are, what they're called, everything. Great is our Lord, and great is the power. His understanding is infinite. The Lord lifteth up meek. He casteth the wicked to the ground, like Michael the Archangel. Sing unto the Lord with thanks, sing praise unto the harp, unto God, who covereth the heaven with clouds, who prepareth rain for the earth, and maketh grass grow upon the mountains. He giveth the beast his food, and the young ravens which cry. I mentioned my cat, Onyx Raven. If you look at the community section, really interesting. I have a post I did, kind of like this satire. He delighteth not in strength of the horse. He taketh not pleasure in the legs of man. The Lord taketh pleasure in them that fear him, in those that hope in his mercy. So I kind of leave that there at that. But it's really interesting. It's a good book, but it's not the complete infinite word of God. But you got to have something. And you got to have some faith in this crazy world. So like I want to have a heart-to-heart talk here. And like basically like finish out the rest of this presentation. So like understand that like, okay, like I was on YouTube today on one of my Chinese news channels, and they had a poll like about like, okay, the United States is like all these little things. They're in Sudan, they're in Iran, they're in like I said, like it's wonder they're not in France sending people. They are. They have 11 Air Force bases, and like okay, now they're sending submarines to Taiwan, and it's like they chose to employ this diplomatic gunboat diplomacy a long time ago, and like it comes at a cost. And like it's like go to Washington D.C. Okay, so the question on this, they had a poll. You know, do you believe that the United States is like basically pushing drama with what they're doing? And I was like, is a yes. And it was like 91% agreed. And like, go to Washington D.C. and look at all the mega houses there and all the other surrounding areas in the D.C. metro area. And like I said, even like other areas like military bases. And it's like all these people, how do they make money? They made their money facilitating drama. There's a military-industrial complex that had to perpetuate itself with facilitated drama, and that's exactly what the United States does. They go around the world like a high school girl and start a whole bunch of shit. The Bushes were like the masters at this. The Dulles brothers pioneered it, and like it was their philosophy that really shaped like the last 100 years of the United States, or like 75 years of the U.S. Like I said, the diplomatic ties, again, like how the geopolitical scene would play out. And like I said, just go there and look at all these houses. And like I said, like I understand that like in the name of population control, you know, like maybe like we needed like there has to be somebody that like, you know, make sure the earth doesn't exceed its carrying capacity, and the sustainability of resources are delineated properly. But like I said, I don't believe that it should be these people, warmongers. Like I said, that like everybody lives they all live in these 3,000 square foot houses. Everybody drives a BMW, and they all have little Ukrainian looking girls, and daddy screws their little girls, and it's like this and that, and like these pedophilia rings, and it's like it's sickening, and it's like these are the people that need cut to the ground. These are the people that are the scum of the earth. You see China making, like I said, do you see like the Sukhoi Corporation? The Sukhoi Corporation had aircraft that could blow the United States out of the water in the 70s. Like stuff like the stuff that they were making in the 70s, the United States can't even touch today. Not even at all. Like you could never even have an air show with the United States and the Russian stuff. It would be too devastating. And then like, okay, so like, you can't buy stock in the Russian defense sector, or like the aerospace sector. You can't buy stock in the Chinese aerospace sector. It's like, who the fuck tries to start, like I said, like publicly trading these companies? And like I said, you would think that they would have at least had something equivocal or been able to compete on a world stage. No. And it's like I said, it's almost like the philosophy of like why the Russian hockey teams, the old like Soviet teams, were so good. And it's like more emphasis on the collective, the team, than it is, the individual. And America just wants to showboat. They want to be in everybody's backyard, sucking everybody off. And it's like I said, really been to our demise. Like, we really should have minded our own business. I have a presentation I just did. I have a whole bunch of presentations I just did, but I have one specifically, The Worst Generation. Please watch that. And I think you see where this whole thing is going. And unfortunately, it's not going to end happy for everybody. But as always, folks, thanks for stopping in the Archangel15. And stay well out there. Like I said, the weather is insane. It's really interesting to watch. And like I said, every day, like I said, is never a dull moment. Take care.